So Smart has been making updates to Notebook and their online offerings, previously known as the Smart Learning Suite, and that Learning Suite has been renamed Lumio. So some new branding going on that you're going to see start popping up in Drive and a few other places. And they've added some new features, so that's what we're going to look at today. So with those new features, when I go to my Drive here, I could certainly scroll down and find a folder where I've got some of my Smart Notebook files loaded up already. And just like before, I can right click when I find a notebook file, right click on that, go to open with, and now I'm seeing Lumio by Smart rather than previously the Smart Learning Suite. So I could hit that and immediately convert this notebook file into sort of the online version of Smart Notebook there. The other option, of course, is to come to the New button here, come down to More, and I can go from scratch. I don't need to start with a particular resource necessarily. I can say I want to start a new Lumio by Smart file. So I'm going to click that right now just to keep it nice and clean. And it'll take me over to suite.smarttech-prod.com and blah, blah, blah. Here we go. Perfect. So this is the page that you would have seen many times before if you've been using the Smart Learning Suite. Really hasn't changed all that much right here on this first page. What I can do certainly is come over to training if I was looking for more information about how all this works. They've got a nice little single page library here of different ways that you can get started, different ways you can kind of enhance what you're doing. Then they have engage, deliver, and share. So there's a bunch of good options here for how you can work with all these files and some nice little videos to help get you going. But they've done something cooler than that. When I go ahead and I hit add activities here, and I start to see a somewhat familiar screen right away, there's some cool new options on here. Now I could always go ahead and import a new resource like a PDF file or a PowerPoint file or a Google slide or anything like that. Hit that, pull something from my own computer, pull something from the little smart library if I've already been creating things, or from my own drive. That's not new. But what is a little bit new is that you can now do more than one file. So if you had multiple different, say, handouts scanned and saved as separate PDF files, initially you could only bring in one PDF file, and then all the other slides you created needed to be these smart slides, these ones created in here with their activities. But now I can actually come back and I can add more and more and more stuff from my drive, from these various other resources. So that's pretty nice. I can certainly bring in YouTube videos, and they've got a great Desmos option now. It's very recently integrated, so you can get a full scientific graphing calculator added to your smart slides as you're, working with it and creating things here. They've also added this option to find a lesson. So this is tied into their newly evolved Smart Exchange, which has existed for years, and educators had supplied and uploaded different lesson plans that others could use, and so it's smart. But a lot of that needed to be revamped, which they did about a year or two ago when Flash went away. And now within Smart Exchange, they've got a whole suite of new lessons and files and such that you can work with. So I can go ahead and just search for, I don't know, fractions. When I do that search, it's jumping into the Smart Exchange and finding me those files that other people have already uploaded. People have already provided these. So I can hit on any of these and just start working with them right away. I can come down here and still use all of their, game-based activities if I want to do memory matching or game show or monster quiz. That stuff's all still available in here as well. Activating prior knowledge is a whole category of, pre-set up slides that I can work with here. But one of the really neat features that they've thrown in here is this cute little educator graduation type cap. Well, that cap on any of these ones that you're curious about, when I hit it, is actually linked to a YouTube video they've created to help you with how this works. So if you've never used Desmos or a graphing calculator before, they've got a little 3-minute video here. They're going to show you exactly how that works. Or if you're curious about their game-based activities, you can hit the little graduation cap and get into some information about their game-based activities. That one's only 1.5 minutes. Or dig deeper, get into the actual games and learn about how do I build one of these memory match things. And they've got a little video right there for you again. So they're going to show you how all that works. So really nice sort of PD tutorial type stuff baked right into the actual building of the lesson. So any of these are going to have that little cap on them for you to jump into and just figure out what this thing is, even right in the moment as you're about to build it. So that is a super nice option that they have gone ahead and added in there. Now if I grab one of my old guys that I've played with before, just something simple here, I'm going to go to Edit. They've moved a couple of things around on here. They used to be able to decide, hey, you know what, I need to make this slide an interactive activity for all my kids. I want them to all have their own version of that and start typing on there. And there was a button right at the bottom that you could hit to do that. And they've moved that button over here. So not a big change. They just slid it up into the corner. I can now make that an individual handout, or I can make it something collaborative the whole class is going to work on together. I still have my little option here to record audio, so if I plan to provide this to students when I'm not there teaching live, I can hit that and I can go ahead and start a recording and tell them what I want them to do on this slide. Now, similar to what I showed on the previous page here, when I come to the bottom corner and I want to start adding more resources, that used to be pretty limited, but the fact now that I can go ahead and add in more PDFs and more activities and search for whole lessons that people have created really just makes editing and building these files so much easier now. In this case, I would click Finished Editing. I'm back in here, and if I actually wanted to start teaching that with the class, of course I would hit Start, and I'd jump into that page and start getting my class involved and going through the slides with them that way. But there's a quick look at some of the new features that they've been adding into what is now called Lumio. And so check it out, give it a try, and let us know what you think.